You're live?
I'm live now? All right, hello. Yeah, that's okay.
Content for later.
Awesome, thank you. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first time doing YouTube remote. We are here at a protest right now at Nickelodeon. We have been watching the Quiet on the Set documentary. I don't know if you guys seen it, but there's 4 episodes on HBO Max, and it has confirmed a lot of theories online about abuse that has been happening. And it's not just theories anymore. There are convictions, convicted PDF files working at Nickelodeon for decades. Currently, there is the CEO, the president of Nickelodeon, who was the creator of all that, and who is affiliated with Dan Schneider. It is a mix of emotions to watch that documentary. We have people coming by to support us. This protest has been a great turnout. We're hoping to see change in the industry from it. There's several different demands that we want to see from Nickelodeon. We obviously want a public apology issued for their role. Yeah, thank you. For their role on the abuse that has happened on set. And we also want the president to be fired. Brian Robbins, you're fired. That's what we want to see here from this protest. We also want to see different legislation passed to protect children in the industry. We need safer spaces in the industry, and we need to also make sure that those laws are enforced, because even the child labor laws that happened on set were ignored, according to this documentary. You can check it out on Max. It does highlight a lot of the abuse that took place from the writers on the Amanda Bynes show to the actors on Zoe 101, Alexa Nicholas, as well as Drake and Josh, which was a devastating story. But you know, we need to protect whistleblowers. People speaking out about what has happened to them is something that can create a lot of change in the future. And that's what we want to see, because the future's now, and Nickelodeon, your time's up. So let's go around and see how others, let's go check out this Nickelodeon blimp over here. So we've been protesting. We've protested here before. About a year and a half ago, we were here, and Alexa Nicholas was speaking out about her own abuse on the set of Zoe 101. And since then, other actors have stepped out. So now it's not just Nickelodeon didn't protect her, but it's Nickelodeon didn't protect us, is a sign that she had when she started this protest here today. And you can go check out her live stream on Eat Predators and see how she went down and addressed every single sign here to basically discuss all of the different allegations as well as convictions that happened on the set. So definitely check that out. We have the creator here, Dan Schneider. What do you guys think about the creator?
Man, fuck Dan Schneider, man.
And what did you guys think about the documentary? I know I asked you before on Alexa's channel. This is Bubblegum Byte, my own YouTube channel.
Hey, what's going on?
You guys had so much amazing things to say before, and I know you've put a lot of energy into creating a movement here and creating change.
Yeah.
So tell me how you felt watching that documentary.
Man, it was definitely a feeling of anger, but at the same time, it was a feeling of relief that, like, something this big is actually going to be presented publicly like this, because, you know, we've been trying to get this heard for so long. So really just glad that it's finally being heard, and really glad that, like, justice is about to be served, as it seems.
What kind of change would you like to see in the industry?
Man, I want a ton of change in the industry. I want children to start being treated more fairly. I want women to start being treated more fairly. I want black people to start being treated more fairly. I want people to be in workplaces comfortably. You know what I mean? I don't want kids to have to worry about any type of molesters, pedophiles, anything like that.
Of course.
And yeah, really, I just want shit to be normal, man. Shit could be really normal and easy if we just let it be. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for all of your efforts. I know you guys have been out here before. Do you want to talk about why you've been here before? And
man, really, it's super blunt, but it's really just because it's fuck Dan Schneider, man. Yeah, like we felt like we could definitely add our own word to this and really get the movement going and just do whatever we can, our fair share. You know what I mean?
Yes, thank you so much for raising awareness on this issue. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Absolutely. Did you guys want to say a couple words about the change you wanted to see in the industry, what you felt about the documentary?
I think you summed it up perfectly, honestly.
Summed it up perfectly?
Yeah, zero tolerance. Zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, boost your page.
Oh man, I go by Kwame Adu. You can find me everywhere. I'm an artist, and I care for the children.
Awesome.
My favorite color. Appreciate y'all. Love all y'all.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So we've had a lot of voices speaking out on social media channels from TikTok to YouTube, and I'm really hoping this sparks legislation change. We've seen it with Free Britney also, and you know, a pinnacle point in the Free Britney movement was when the New York Times came out with their documentary on Hulu, and so I feel like this Max documentary could actually bring about the same type of mainstream support that we saw in the Britney movement. That was something that really validated a lot of the protesters, what they had been saying for years, and now we have something of the same caliber, HBO Max, just Discovery investigation covering this topic, and I'm hoping that it is the pinnacle of change here for this movement. People are calling it the Me Too movement for kids, and I would like to see it go towards a bill and legislation to be passed through the Senate, just like Free Britney did. So I'm going to be following Eat Predators. I know she's been saying the same thing, Alexa Nicholas, so please send support. Everything is possible because of everyone together. What you're doing now, just supporting people's YouTubes, leaving a comment, leaving a like, watching, it does help. It helps a bigger cause. This is a collective issue, and when we all come together, that's when we see change. So don't think that you're too small. Don't think that if you don't understand like legal jargon that you can't learn, because you can. There's education on this app right now. So I'm proud of all of you guys for educating yourself, following independent media, because it really is so important. I've seen so many headlines in mainstream media that was just misinformation and sometimes straight up lies. I've seen it with Britney's case. I've seen it with Elijah Blue's case. And that's why it's important to follow independent journalists and just people who are on the ground floor, you know, just sharing their perspective. So thank you guys so much for supporting the Nickelodeon protest. Definitely watch the documentary, support survivors, power to survivors. And also just one other topic I want to touch on is basically the idea of this being normalized, and I believe it becomes normalized because of enablers and people who protect this sort of behavior and make light of it. So I do think it's so important to really call out the enablers in this situation and the people who wrote letters to support PDF files in the industry who were convicted of heinous crimes. Those enablers protecting those criminals is something that normalizes it in our culture, and it needs to stop. So use your voice, use your channel, use your platform, and power to survivors. Thank you guys.
Are you wrapping up?
Yeah, I'm wrapping up now.
You want to be more interviews?
I mean, we could kind of like...
Look, I think we should interview this chick that came from Hawaii.
Okay.
And also the couple in the Teddy Fresh.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Get the couple in the Teddy Fresh.
Okay, let's do it. Do you guys want to be interviewed? We can do you guys too.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Yeah, sure.
Of course, yeah.
All right, so tell me what brings you guys here today.
Well, I've been following Alexa for a while and her whole movement, and I'm just very grateful that she's speaking out. And I honestly just wanted to be here to support, because I feel like survivors need, there's power in numbers. I think that survivors need to have people there so that they know that they're supported. They have people that have their back.
Absolutely. Allies are so important. Thank you so much for showing up and showing that support in person.
Absolutely. No, yeah, we're here. We've been following the story for a very long time. Obviously, we watch almost every Nickelodeon show there is, right? Once the documentary came out, we've been very eager to come out and help and basically just get answers and help support everyone. So,
how did you feel watching the documentary after watching Alexa's channel and kind of knowing a bit about what has been happening, and then actually seeing it from other angles, like the writers, which we didn't see before, and of course Drake Bell stepping forward? How did that sit with you watching it? I know it's a very overwhelming question.
Right. I think because of people like Sloan, who is here, who's covered a lot of stuff. Sadly, I wasn't necessarily shocked, but still disgusted in every way, right? So like, I guess the biggest shocking was the confirmation of it being Drake, but yeah, like I said, this story has been developing for a long time, so when I did see a lot of the details. Not as shocked, but still very disgusted, unfortunately. So.
I was definitely disgusted and very disappointed, and I honestly felt a little bit ashamed to have been taking in all of that content. I watched as most of us did, we watched all of those shows growing up, and I was really upset to be part of why people like Dan Schneider were able to get as high as they did and made money benefiting off of the abuse of all of their child actors.
And you guys watched Nickelodeon growing up, and so kind of reflecting back on that content, like knowing that we were watching it so much, like how did it sit with you as an adult in hindsight? Like those jokes being intended and hidden.
And I didn't notice any of those jokes as a child. I actually, of course, was watching Drake and Josh as it was airing. When Zoe 101 was airing, I was there kind of eager to watch the first episode. And it's kind of crazy because Nicole, Alexa's character, was my favorite character. She was one of my favorites. She was always really bubbly, and I loved that about her. And whenever she ended up leaving at the end of season 2, when season 3 came out, I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
But especially to hear her story, to hear her talk in depth about what she went through on set, I felt so horrible about everything that she went through, and I felt bad that I, again, was there watching.
Right, we get like a watcher's guilt because we were such big fans of the show. We almost feel like by us watching it, that made them want to exploit them even more.
You guys were also exploited from this
right.
process, and you were children watching this content, and this was what we were fed as children.
We were the
as
target demographic, right? So it's not. It's like we know it's not our fault, but we still sit with that guilt.
He specifically said, there's a clip of Dan in the documentary saying, "My job is to glue kids to the TV screen." He knew what he was doing. And again, watching all of those scenes back as an adult, because I rewatched for nostalgia, especially before I heard about Alexa's story, and I was like, wow, this is all very intense.
Right.
All of the Ariana Grande footage, everything. Even seeing Alexa getting bullied on set in one of the scenes, it was
like literally, it's so much. It's just so much.
And it would be one thing if it was one or two isolated incidents, but there's so much that made it on air that was disgusting for kids to watch. I can't imagine what my parents were thinking, sitting there sitting in the kitchen while I'm watching TV and saying like, did they mean that joke like that? This is for kids.
And for it being questionable for so long, but then to find out in the documentary that the writers confirmed that he actually knew that those jokes were sexual innuendos.
And then they excused it as, oh, Dan just has a funky sense of humor. After
Dan Schneider told the writers not to tell that they knew it was a sexual innuendo. That was shocking, not surprising, but again, you don't want it to be true.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is there some? Are you live or is this?
Yeah, we're live right now.
We're live. Is it okay if I call out Josh back?
Yeah, you can call out. Josh.
Okay, so Josh, why have we not heard from you? Like, I get it, you don't like Drake because of all. Like, we all feel conflicted about Drake, but like, dude, like, why isn't your statement out? Just like of any kind of support. Like, you guys obviously were coworkers a long time ago, but like, you got to say something. Like, come on, Drake and Josh. I'm just saying. Like, your silence is loud, bro. I'm just saying.
I do wonder where all the support is from other actors that were working on set with him now. Why isn't anybody speaking up about it? It's a little bit gross, and I can't imagine how Drake would feel abandoned by someone who was playing his brother or his sister on set and ended up going back into a reboot with Nickelodeon. It's insane to me.
So yeah, you're gonna defend Dan Schneider and you're gonna defend like David Dobrik. It's like, come on, bro, come on. I don't know. That's all I have to say about it.
Thank you so much. No, I agree with that. Thank you for calling it out because it's important that we do that. It's important for people to step forward and shine a light on what's happening here and let people know that this is a serious issue and it's a dangerous issue that's manifested for decades and is still happening. The creator of all that is currently president of Nickelodeon, and one of the things I would like to see from this protest is for him to be fired.
Yeah, absolutely. At bare minimum.
Bare minimum. So maybe on
fired.
3 we go, Brian Robbins, you're fired.
Right.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Brian Robbins, you're fired.
Yeah, thank you for that, you guys. Thank you for supporting. Absolutely.
Teddy Fresh fits.
Oh, Teddy Fresh. We got the Teddy Fresh. Family, and then she's got her jacket. Shouts out.
Amazing. And we have Brian Peck here. Oh my God.
Fuck this guy.
Fuck this guy. Oh my God. He's absolutely despicable. I was sick watching that.
I was crawling in my skin watching, and especially seeing Drake and his reaction, and how it was so it was so hard for him to speak about this. You could tell how uncomfortable he felt, and just, I don't know, I am again disappointed in everything that happened, but I'm happy that Drake Bell finally feels like he can come forward and tell his story.
Yeah.
Because it's not okay what happened to him, and it's even more not okay the way people just swept it under the rug so that he can continue filming his show, or so that they can continue making money off of him.
They made it feel normal for him, that that was acceptable and that there was support for that type of behavior, and thus perpetuating the cycle of abuse.
Exactly.
So
It shows how much power he had, right? That he was able to create such a manipulative community around Nickelodeon. So.
Absolutely, a toxic culture, and I'd like to see that eradicated. You know, how do we do that? We want to see bills passed, but we want to see that enforced as well. Is there anything that you guys can think of that would help basically eradicate any kind of abuse in the industry? I mean, we're thinking about different legislation that could protect the children. Obviously, we want to see new people on the board.
I would love to see the actors and actresses, the children actors and actresses, actually get paid well and get residuals. I think that they need to back pay Alexa, Drake, and all of the other adults who are adults now that were children actors at the time. They should be making money off of those shows airing, or if they want their episodes, their content to be taken off, they should be taken down. They were children at the time, and they probably didn't have great lawyers or great support for what contracts they should be signing. And it's ridiculous that they were able to be taken advantage of like that, and that Nickelodeon can still make money off of that.
Nickelodeon's still making money on Netflix, exploiting the child stars that they actually abused. I mean, that is wild. I agree, back pay. Why doesn't Nickelodeon invest in survivors and invest in allies and invest in creating a safe space in their own company? That would be interesting. Instead of blacklisting protesters and advocates, why don't you hire them and make sure they're keeping your studio safe? I would like to see that. What do you think about that?
I would too. I honestly, if they were actually sorry, they can release as many PR made statements as they want to, but if they were actually sorry, they would do something about it, and they would take care of those that have been harmed under their watch, under their contracts right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. The very least, they could start with an apology, and then we'd like to see some change in the system, change of people in office, as well as, you know, I'd like to see them invest in safe spaces.
They should be.
Oh yeah.
They should have hired therapists for Drake after what happened. Why wasn't Why didn't they immediately put him in therapy for what happened to him?
They could still pay for his therapy if they really wanted to, you know. But
it's ridiculous.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Thank you guys so much for coming here, as well as like interviewing on my channel. This is Bubblegum Byte. It's my YouTube channel. Yeah, thank you so much.
Can we plug us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Follow us at Swagmuffs. We got YouTube, we got Twitch, Instagram, all the socials. Swagmuffs. So you'll find us there.
Swagma? Yeah, how do you
so
spell
much.
that?
Swag, so swag, SWAGMUFFS. Swagmuffs. Yeah.
You said yours was Bubblegum?
Yes,
And
Bubblegum
Family
Byte
Forever.
with a Y. B-Y-T-E. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming here. It means so much.
I'm so happy that we were able to be here.
Yeah, and I definitely want to connect with you. So
I'll. Is it the same on Instagram? I'll follow you
there. You can follow me on Instagram too, and you'll see my main account over there, and we'll connect on like my main account. And yeah, awesome.
Again, I'm so happy to be able to be here and support this time. I've been wanting to come to the protest for a while now.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you for showing up, and your support is felt, and that was really powerful. Yeah, thank you. Power in numbers. Absolutely. Power to the people, power to survivors, power to allies. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to interview you. No, I took a video of you before explaining this. Would you like to explain it on my live now?
Oh, great. Hi.
Introduce
so
yourself.
admirable. Doing this so long. You're so great.
You're great. Thank you for showing up and for putting all this energy into this sign and following the story and being a supporter.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to show like a storyboard and how, you know, a lot of people, they don't see what's happening behind the scenes, but photographers and people, you know, on sets, like in creativity, they understand the perspective of the camera lens and how they can change what people see and understand. But when you look up for Nickelodeon behind the scenes, you don't see that much. I only saw like some of iCarly, and then I also saw the boardroom here.
Wow. The boardroom.
Yeah,
oh my
so
God.
they're making decisions. And then I also showed you know, like the Rugrats thing and the kid or the cartoon screaming because like they're not listened to because, you know, they're manipulating what people perceive and their vantage point and what they understand. And and there are great shows, definitely, but this is the post-production when you see the perfection back there. And then you can see, you know, even, you know, Amanda Bynes, the 2000 shows. You can see the history as well, like even Judy Garland in the
Judy Garland
30s, 40s. You know, there were fixers at MGM. They were very infamous for strong arming, and so, you know, and then there might have been a few decades of not much going on, like people just saying whatever, and then they came back in the 90s and 2000s. And so, you know, the executives definitely know because they definitely like executive protection. But then also, you know, back to like something that's understandable, you know, there's Brian Peck, he's a dialogue coach. So, you know, he's editing consent, like he's looking at what these people are saying, like their before and after, like, oh yeah, he's saying to them to come to his house or whatever, and then, oh, well, they made the choice to go to his house, you know? So they're always editing like the dialogue and the consent and their statements. In the beginning, you know who it is, who done it, and at the end it's like, who done it? I have no idea. So, you know, I was just showing a storyboard because like there are predators behind the scenes, and you should stop, you know, when they're fixing things at all the different levels of it. You know, testimony and information related to legal claims and defense does matter, and it should matter in California as well. So, you know, they're up against so much, and it's like, well, you know, maybe they just don't want to get involved because then they could go after their family or like their friends or any medical information, like with fines and things like that.
True.
And then they can't do anything. So, but yeah, it's so amazing about what's happened at Nickelodeon here in just 2 years. Finally, apology from Dan Snyder. That's great.
Yeah, you know, he said he was embarrassed for some of the things, I believe. I'd have to look into that quote. I know that broke while we were here, that there was an apology. So I'll have to go through that. But, you know, we'd like to see more than apologies. We need to see change in the industry. And I'd like to know what Nickelodeon is going to say about this. What kind of change would you like to see for Nickelodeon?
Yeah, I definitely think that there are boardrooms and get around and really think about these things. They might have threatened each other with NDAs before. Like, it's kind of like, oh, the business thing, you got to go under NDAs. But NDAs aren't valid if they're covering up for abuses or, you know, violent things or anything like that. But then it gets held over the executives' heads. So I think the executives they know exactly who the fixers were because it was kind of the go-to, like everybody would use these investigators and then the lawyers just listen to the investigators and copy and paste what they say. And so I think that they should really think about, you know, what they were involved in and avoiding or, you know, and, you know, this happens for decades. People are still watching these films even 100 years later, and people are still feeling for these people 100 years later. So instead of reveling in acting like it's a media creativity thing that they have to protect, it's more like, should they protect each other and their legacies? Because, you know, eventually people, you know, things do come out and people do become aware. And do you want it to be way later, or do you want it to be now? Or do you want it to be, you know, happening currently and to change it quickly, like prevent it?
So true. I love that. That makes so much sense. Nickelodeon, do you want to be a part of the progress to make it safer for children and make those changes now? Or do you want to always have that reflection where people look back and see that you didn't protect the children and that you're still not doing anything about it even now when it comes to light? So I do believe that is so important. Thank you so much for coming today and supporting. Appreciate it so much. This is awesome that you made this. And thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, protect survivors.
Protect
definitely.
Survivor. Power to survivors. And do you have an Instagram or anything that you'd like to shout out?
I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, Christina Taft. Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, you could go on YouTube and look at the different
Awesome.
scenes.
We're on
I
YouTube
have.
right now. So thank you so much for doing that. Thanks for speaking out about this and for showing up and being an ally and a supporter.
Great, thank you.
Of course.
This is exciting.
Of course.
Can we get a double interview of you guys talking to each other on?
Sure, why
Oh
not?
my God,
Let's
a
do it.
double
Give me this.
interview.
Oh yeah, you want to take this?
Yeah.
Let me. There you go.
Here, you don't have to have it plugged in.
Yeah.
Look me up on
Good call.
Twitter because the
Thank
picture's
you.
screaming at me again, and even with the poster.
All right. Well, I showed up late today. Is this the microphone?
Yeah, this is the microphone.
I showed up late today, so I may have missed some excitement at the beginning of the protest. Did anything interesting happen that I missed?
Well, when we first got here, it was a nice show. There was a lot of people here, a lot of support, and we basically just set up, kind of spoke together, processing the documentary. Did you get a chance to watch the documentary?
I did. I watched the first 2 episodes with you. That's
of
right,
it, I
on
should
Sunday.
say.
The rest of it, I was actually driving last night, but I had them playing in my car, and I was listening very closely. It was disturbing, but much needed information.
Yeah.
I encourage you all to watch Quiet on Set on Max if you have not already. My chat's been hearing me plug it.
Yeah, no, same, of course. That's what this is about today, so I appreciate it. And so I guess I can tell, my chat basically more about you if you want, because we've done activism work together before. We know each other through Predators, and
That's
Jacob
right.
here covers a lot. He does court reporting for Scientology, like I do the court reporting for Britney Spears, and conservatorship cases like right now Elijah Allman is going through.
So if you're in my chat and you don't know Melanie, be sure to check out, it's Bubblegum Byte on YouTube.
yes.
Bubblegum Byte, that's Byte, B-Y-T-E, right? So check her out. She has done a lot to bring a lot of positive attention to the Free Britney movement. She's been continuing to attend all of the hearings relating to ongoing litigation surrounding the end of Britney's conservatorship, and I encourage you, for all of the power dynamics and patterns of abuse that we see in Scientology, in institutions like Nickelodeon.
The music industry,
The
what we've
music
seen in
industry is
Britney's
no
case.
exception.
Exactly. It just seems like they're organizations that are supporting each other's abuse and crimes, and it's definitely something that we need to shine a light on. So I appreciate what you're doing for Scientology.
Thank you.
And I commend that. I've been to the Scientology protests, and my background with Britney Spears and protesting for Britney, that was a very different protest. That protest,
Sure.
there was a lot of retaliation that we don't see at the Stanley Moss Courthouse when we're protesting there.
I'm
So
sure.
that was, I kind of expected it, but can you talk how that's been? I know you guys have been facing arrests and...
So I met Melanie actually at the protest that Eat Predators organized in front of Celebrity Center in October of 2023. And as soon as we arrived, the private security guard that Eat Predators had hired to keep us safe was immediately detained by police for concerns that he had a weapon that he was not supposed to have. He was later released, but he was cuffed for like an hour. Since then, folks who have been protesting Scientology have continued to be detained, swatted, arrested. It's been an ongoing struggle that the protesters have had to face, and Scientology has showed no sign of backing down.
Wow.
That blew my mind.
Wow, I commend you guys for your consistency and showing up there, even going against the LAPD showing up when they're called. They showed up so quickly to that protest. We had just gotten there, so obviously it was premeditated.
Yeah.
So
There's definitely a documented history of corruption between the Church of Scientology and the LAPD Hollywood division. So I can't say I'm surprised, but it's still disheartening to see them stand against victims, especially when folks who are protesting are actually the ones being punched by either Scientologists or patrons of Scientology adjacent businesses, and then call the police only to find that the police are actually siding against those who have been assaulted. So much. There's so much to get into,
yeah,
but
that's so scary.
we're trooping on. We're not backing down.
Well, thank you for showing up to this today also.
Totally,
I love
yeah.
the overlap of advocacy that we've been doing, and I've been learning so much more about Scientology from what you've done.
And I've been learning more about the Free Britney movement, so thank you to all that you do as well.
Thank
And this is Bubblegum Byte again for those on my stream who are not already following her.
Shout out your YouTube channel as well.
And then my channel is Jacob Harkey. That's JACOBHARKEY. If you want to come subscribe, I would definitely appreciate it.
Yes, definitely support Jacob. I appreciate all that you do. Thanks for telling me more about it. And I know it's been intense, so I appreciate your hard work and advocacy.
Heck yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Whose channel are you on right now? Is that on?
This is
Alexa's, or that's yours?
Bubblegum.
Heck
Yeah.
Right on.
Bubblegum. See, we got some TikTokers over here.
TikTokers in the wild.
TikTokers in the wild doing their thing, making change with their creativity. Love to see it. Yes, so it's been a successful protest. Maybe
Just hit 30 minutes. That was my goal.
okay. Let's stop there. We'll tend to the rest of the advocates. Make sure everyone's hydrated because it's been a hot day. So
Say like thank you.
yes. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys so much. Your support is amazing. Hit the like button. I'm a new member to YouTube, so all of you guys make a difference, and I appreciate it. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. I love you. Bye.